Thank you. Thank you so much, Peter. Can you hear me now? I think something on my keyboard was clicked that was muting me. Ah, yay. Thank you so much. Sorry, I'm still so bad at all of this stuff. I was saying that I didn't promote this very much because my kids had a karate tournament really far away, and I wasn't sure if I'd get back in time, but we got back a couple of hours ago, and I was like, let's do it. So if we have any questions, put them in the chat. Um, Speaking of the karate tournament, I guess I'll start out by saying that um, one of the things that I like so much about raising kids here versus the United States is that the sports here, youth sports, are way more accessible. So in the United States, if you have kids, you know, like it has gotten out of hand. I mean, it is frankly out of hand. The cost per month to put your kid in a sport is insane. The cost to buy uniforms, and then some of these games are like in other states and things. And like my friends who have kids who are really athletic, I am so I feel so bad for them because they spend all of their money and time on these sports. And like if that's you, if that's what you want to do, great. Like I'm not no judgment, but here we have community clubs, and like I said, I we were at a karate tournament. Okay, my kids do karate at the local community center. There it is a block away. It costs $125 a year to be a member of the club. And then their karate class costs $10 a month. $10. Like they get 8 classes a month for $10. And they're high quality classes, good, the tournament we just went to was all over Uruguay, came to this tournament like it's an actual real karate class, but just $10 a month. And maybe we have a tournament that they go to every other month that might cost 40 or $50, but it's very, very reasonable. Like it's accessible. Like I can pay for these sports on my teacher salary. And in the United States, we just didn't do sports because for me, it was so expensive and the time commitment was so insane that I just said, no, I'm not doing it. It, T-ball should not cost me an arm and a leg. I'm sorry. I just don't think it should. So, anyway, that's my little rant to start off this live because I just love that they get to do sports. They do sports every single day. Both of my kids are on 3 different sports teams, and it does not disrupt our life because we walk them a block away and then we're home in time to eat family dinner, and it's not that expensive. Peter asked, adult stuff too? Yes, the clubs have all generations. So the club we go to has kids sports, but it also has like adult exercise classes, adult football. It is Uruguay. There's always football, soccer, it has adult flamenco classes, choir. Um, the older people get together and play dominoes. Everything is there. There's something for everybody. And then there is like a little cafe in the club. So even if, excuse me, on a long sports day at the end of the day, you know, sometimes we just eat in the cafe and then we're eating with other people in the club. So it's still community building and family building. So anyway, it's really nice. Yeah. I love dominoes too. Like honestly, I want to play with them, but I am I am momming most of the time, but Yeah, it's super fun, and my kids will, like, get out of karate class and go watch them play dominoes and talk with them, and it's really, it's just nice because I feel like in the US, it you have to work pretty hard to, like, mix with other generations, to, like, create those opportunities, where here, it's happening organically and in these clubs. So, anybody who wants to move to Uruguay, I would say find like a neighborhood club and join immediately and start meeting your neighbors and forming community, because that is really, really, really going to benefit you so much. Like, we have gotten so much out of this club. We absolutely love it. My kids have so many friends there. But also we have friends there too, and it's really nice. So, youth sports, one more reason to move to Uruguay. If you have a question, put it in the chat. I have had a super long day, so um, I if there aren't a lot of questions, I will probably just jump off. Um, we don't have a car here, so and that's my favorite thing about living here, is that I don't ever have to drive. But the couple of times that we have to, like, travel somewhere, it means that it's a bit of a trek. And so my kids' karate tournament was about an hour away if I had a car, but 2 hours by bus. So we got up super early, took a really long bus ride, spent all day in a really cold gym, and came back. So yes, Doug, I do consulting. If you're going to be here in Uruguay, reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. I am a full-time teacher, so I am teaching during the week, pretty much all day, every day. But weekends or evenings or things, I can definitely meet with people. I met with someone a couple of days ago, actually. My friend Karen, who she's the person behind Uruguay. You might have seen that, probably have if you've investigated Uruguay at all. She sent her to me because our kids are the same age, and I literally just took her. I was like, "Hey, you want to just come to our sports stuff and, like, chat and kind of see how this really works to walk your kids to sports and all of this." Um, it was very, like, slice of life. Like, here, come spend a few hours with our family and kind of get the feel for what it's like here. So I definitely do that. I'm available to do that. Um, let's see. Developmentally disabled adults. Jason, don't. I don't have any resources for that, but I can. Let me take a note. Um, in my notebook here, and I will ask my network and see if anybody else does. Um, adults. Okay. Sorry, Jason. I don't have any experience with that. I mean, as a teacher, I have some experience with what it looks like in a classroom and things like that, but I don't know with adults right now. Um, we have an engineer, doctor, and student. How realistic would it be for them to find jobs as non-Spanish speakers? So this is a question from Pound Posh. It it is going to be really difficult to find a job as a non-Spanish speaker unless you're in two very specific fields. Um, one of those is English teaching. That is what I do. And then you even have levels within that. So, like, I teach in public schools. I had to have like teaching experience. It wasn't just like, oh, I got a TEFL and got hired. But there are language schools that you can kind of get a TEFL and get hired as a teacher. To be honest, you're not going to make very much money that way. I mean, I don't make very much money either as a public school teacher, but you're not going to make a lot of money doing that. The other option is Zona America, like the word zone, but like Zona America, America. Um, that is like a free trade zone. It's right outside of Montevideo. It's a huge tech hub, basically. And there can be jobs there for English speakers. For example, my husband works out there. The company he works for, he only speaks English at work. Most of his coworkers are from India, and he is running teams like in multiple countries all over the world, and he's speaking English. Um, and that it can be a good opportunity because Zona America, like I think their deal with the government is that the workers have to go there in person. So you are only applying against other people who speak English and live in Montevideo. So, it has a smaller pool there. Um, but, my husband is amazing and he had a great resume and had a lot of skills. He's a data analyst. So, engineer, you didn't say what kind of engineer. I don't know if you can update me, but unless it's an engineer, like something that you could do with technology, probably not. Um, so yeah, that is like the hardest thing about moving here is really the job market. Um, Sometimes immigrants or expats will say, oh, Uruguayans don't hire foreigners, they only hire Uruguayans. And that's not exactly true. What is true is that they hire the most qualified person. And because people really value education here, Uruguayans are very, very talented. And, you're just you're not going to come in and necessarily be like above them in your qualifications, if that makes sense. So, I wouldn't count on being able to find a job here. As a doctor, especially, I have a friend who moved here and she is a pediatrician and she's moving back because she could not find a job here and she's fluent in Spanish. She just couldn't find a job. Like, there are a lot of doctors here already. So it's not really something in high demand. So, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, of course, but I also want to be honest that probably engineer, unless it's something with data, computers at Zona America, probably not. I mean, there's other companies too. There's a lot of renewable resources here, but again, you would have to speak Spanish to work there. Anyway, uh, Jason, I wish I could tell you more. I have a student with Downs and they have like a person who comes with them to class and helps them and everything. So I know there are resources for students. I don't know what that looks like into adulthood, but I am going to ask my friends who would probably know, and I will get with you. I will respond to a comment or something and or email you because I just don't know what it looks like as an adult. Um, but I do know, like with my student, they are totally a part of the class. They are totally integrated into the classroom, and I think like Uruguayan kids are also really good at bringing people in. this is not Downs, but like in my kids' school, there are a couple of kids who are wheelchair users, and they are playing with the other kids. Like they're totally included. Like I've never seen them not be in the middle of the football match, you know. So I feel like there's probably support, but I don't know exactly what it looks like. So I'm gonna have to the cheap club, I mean, it is I'm not gonna tell you where it is because I like internet safety. I don't want to tell you where we exactly live. But I will tell you that in our neighborhood within 3 blocks, there are 3 different neighborhood clubs. So, you know, anywhere you live, you just need to kind of explore. They have different options. Like each club will kind of have different things. Like our club does not have a pool. A lot of clubs have a pool, so they'll do a lot more like swimming and water aerobics and things like that. So it kind of wherever you end up, you just start asking around and ask what clubs are around is what you do. Um, oh yeah, Jason. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, um, half of each interview in Spanish. What I mean, if you feel comfortable telling me what company that is, um, I mean, my husband's first language is Spanish, so he was like, "Man, this doesn't even help me here. I still have to speak English." So, I think it probably depends on the company. His company is highly based in India, so it's more English. Um, yeah, overqualified. I can see that. Yeah. I mean, I think maybe it's um it's a risk to hire someone who's just now moving here because they might say, cuz salaries are way way lower here. And so I think a lot of companies are like, are you going to stick around? Why would you move here? Um, you have to have like a pretty good reason to have moved here. He got his job at Zona America after we were already living here for almost no over a year. So he was like, "No, I'm here to stay. I've already been here a year." So maybe that is part of it. I'm not sure. The music scene, Peter, is amazing. Uruguayans love music. What I will tell you, please do this after the live. Look up the Uruguayan national anthem. Just YouTube it and listen to it. It is the most beautiful, in my opinion, the most beautiful national anthem in the world. It sounds like an opera. It's gorgeous. And then when you are in like an area where it's being played and people sing, like everyone sings it so well. And I just melt every time. Like I absolutely love it. Um, but yeah, people love music here. So many of my students play instruments, and if you take a bus, like you're probably about 30% likely to have someone on the bus playing music. I mean, music is good. Um, Morfeo. Mi español es así, así, porque mi esposo es de México y tengo 17 años tratando de aprender, pero en México y uruguayo es muy diferente. Pero soy una maestra en secundaria, en liceos, y mis estudiantes todo el tiempo están enseñándome y estoy aprendiendo las jergas y ta. Ta ta ta. My my kids are they started public school when we got here, and my son told me like maybe 3 weeks after being here. He's like, "Mom, I discovered the secret." And I'm like, "Okay, what is it?" And he said, "If you don't understand what someone's telling you, just say ta. Ta means everything. You can just say ta and it works." So that's my joke is, yeah, ta. Okay. Okay. Perfect, Doug. Thank you. Um, yeah, I yeah. The funny thing is that people here, when my husband speaks, they're like, "Oh, eres mexicano." Okay, yeah. When I speak, they're like, "What are you?" And I'm like, I've got a lot of people think Brazilian for some reason, Venezuelan, Romanian comes up a lot. I don't know why that, but people are like, and then when I say, yeah, the US, Estados Unidos, they're like, but how do you know Spanish? I'm like, well, we're allowed to learn. It's just, most people just don't. But yeah, definitely 17 years in with a Mexican husband. I can't help it. Um, yeah, I mean, historically, most of the people moving here have been retirees. It is a good place for retired people because it has great health care. It's a beautiful place to live. Um, it's pretty easy to immigrate here. But yeah, the job situation is really like the one thing that makes it so difficult to move here. Honestly, the job situation is probably number one. I'm like, you have to have a plan, um, because everything else is pretty simple, but the job is difficult. Yeah. California, I'm from Texas, we have even before I met my husband, I grew up a couple of hours from the border, so we had a lot of Mexican slang and things like that. So, um, it is tough, and a lot of times I'll be like, I was really surprised. My mother-in-law visited, and I was introducing her to all of my Uruguayan friends, and I was calling her tita because in Mexico, that's like abuelita is tita, and that's what my kids call her. And all of my Uruguayan friends were like, "Tita, what's tita? Like that's weird." And I'm like, "You don't use tita here." Nope. So constantly, I find all of these little interesting uh, differences, but it's fun. I love it. Um, but yeah, you definitely, if you are going to move here and you have zero Spanish, I always recommend don't take a class in the US because in the US, they teach Mexican Spanish primarily, or at least Mexican Central American Spanish. And it's so different here. Um I compare it to like if you went to Scotland. Yes, you speak English and they're speaking English and it doesn't sound anything the same, right? So, if you are starting from zero, you might as well learn the type of Spanish that you're going to be moving into. You know what I mean? Um Yeah, Jason, actually, we're trying to buy a house now. We like our residency should be finalized really soon. And once that happens, you don't have to be a resident. You can buy a house as a foreigner. Me personally, I'm kind of like waiting for that to just, I'm just extra cautious. Um, I think the most important thing, and I did have a background in real estate and construction, and so I've always said in real estate, you can change the house and you can never change the neighborhood. And so I think that getting a really good feel for the neighborhood is the most important thing. So I recommend renting, or I mean, what we even did was stay in different Airbnbs for a month at a time in different areas. And then we picked the area we liked the best and rented an apartment that we're still in now, almost a year and a half later. And and then we're going to buy a house hopefully in this neighborhood because we really, really love this neighborhood. Like we've really set down roots here. Um, so that's what I would just say is really make sure, you like the neighborhood, you like the area, um, whatever. Everywhere has, a downside, right? Like where I live, some people don't like Montevideo because it's noisier than, the countryside or whatever, whatever. But I don't have to have a car. But if I wanted to move out to the suburbs or to a small coastal town, I would pretty much need a car. Um, I mean, not 100%, but really for the lifestyle we live where we need to take our kids to a bunch of different things, we would need a car. So I think you have to just kind of weigh, what you want versus what you're willing to put up with as the downsides. That's like my biggest thing in life always is I almost always make decisions more based on the things I can put up with more so than the things I like, you know, um, even when picking a spouse. You know what I mean? Like, and we've been together 17 years, and it's great because I was like, the things that drive me crazy about him are very manageable things. So yeah, like I think have a little bit of time and a place before you pick it. But I mean, that's me. You can do whatever you want. I mean, some people just buy a house right off the bat. So, um, what would I bring with me? The biggest thing I always tell people to bring is if you have a particular spice, you can find most spices here at this point. But if you have a particular one, there's some in Mexican cooking that I cannot find here. So my mother-in-law brought them with her. Spices, shoes. Shoes are really expensive here. I am not sure why. They're really, really, really expensive here. So I always tell everyone that's moving here, get yourself a really good pair of tennis shoes. Just bring a good pair with you and maybe like dress boots and things like that. Um, I When I went back to the US, what I brought back with me was mostly like makeup and skincare. Again, it all exists here. It's just way more expensive. So I was just, because I'm a cheapskate, I was just bringing, the things that I use to make it a little bit cheaper. Um, that's basically it, though. I mean, we're kind of a low maintenance family, though. If you have something that matters a lot to you, like some people bring sheets because they like have a texture sensory thing, right? Like if there's something that really matters a lot to you, bring that. Oh, the other thing is I would bring um it is harder to find clothes in larger sizes here, anything above an extra large. So if that is your size, definitely bring that. And when I went back to the US, I bought a bunch of bras because they do not have larger sizes of bras, which is maybe too personal to share on YouTube, but I'm telling you, it's important. Um, South America, yeah, yeah. Jason. Okay, air purifiers. I made a video about this actually like last week about the air quality here because I know, Jason, that you probably see on expat groups and stuff people complaining about mold and air quality. Um Honestly, like, we live in a 700 square foot approximately apartment, and it has 2 mini splits, and we run those a lot because 'cause we're wimps. Like, I'm sorry, I don't do cold, we run them a lot. Um, and so we don't experience any problems with the air. I mean, we really just don't. We run the mini splits and that cleans out the air. I clean the filters often. Um, I would not bring air purifiers with you. They also sell them here too. You can buy them here and they're made for the electricity here. That's another thing. These like transformers, I mean, they're hit and miss. My kid's Xbox caught on fire when we first got here. So I basically say just buy buy your appliances and things here. Um, I don't know why people feel like they're going to be lower quality. I have a hair dryer, a straightener, a blender, like all the things here, and they're fine. I mean, it's not my blend tech, which I had in the US. That's probably the only thing I miss, but it works. It does a job, you know? So no, I wouldn't. I mean, maybe if you're doing a container and you have extra space, sure, but I think you could bring them here. I mean, you could buy them here. Um, no, Morfeo, I haven't. I know a lot of people who go. I just already do too many things. Like I'm always like with my kids and I run an LGBTQ group that has a lot of meetups and things like that. So I just end up always booked, and so I don't go to the language exchange, which I should. My language exchange is my probably my closest friend here in Uruguay owns the almacen downstairs. And I go every single day and I chat with her. And she jokes that she's now running a language school because she's teaching me the jergas every day. And that's my language exchange. I teach them English and they teach me Spanish, and um, I feel like that's enough because I'm doing it every single day. And then also my students, because I teach um, in secundaria, like first, second, and third. So I teach that group of kids who will roast you if you say something wrong, like absolutely roast you. So my students will totally let me know. They are helping me a lot. Um, Jason, the residency, I 4 to 8 months is not our experience. We did have a hiccup. It's a long story, but I'll try to shorten it. Here in Uruguay, women do not change their name when they get married the same way we do in the US. So I had this problem where all of my documents were in my married name, but in Texas, they put your maiden name on the birth certificate of kids. So they were like, why are why are your kids not under your name? That doesn't make sense. And I was like, patriarchy is why. But, like I don't have a document to explain why my name changed because it's kind of automatic. And so we had to spend several months trying to figure that out. Like it was a whole thing. So we only finally got all of our documents like in to be like finally processed in like May of this year. So we're still, and we started in February of last year. So, f- our experience was not 4 to 8 months. But I know other people who had more simple, like they're single and they started before they came and got through really quickly. So I think it just kind of depends on your situation. Um, but I would also say, I mean, there's a lot more volume coming in right now. So probably it's going to take longer at this moment. Um, okay. Peter says internet shopping question mark. Um, we have a site called Mercado Libre. It is like if eBay and Amazon and Zillow had a baby. It is a it's a weird website, but you definitely can buy things and have them shipped to your house. It is not Amazon though. It is not easy, as easy as Amazon. I mean, it has more things than neighborhood stores, but um, it's not Amazon, which is actually good in my opinion because we spend a lot less money. But bum, bum, bum. Peter, and I look around and a lot of people are the same size as me. And I'm like, where I want to be like, where are you buying clothing, ma'am? I'm very confused. Um, it just I have a harder time. Yes, BYD is like the biggest electric car here. It is super common. Build your dreams, the Chinese electric car. It's huge here. It is super, super common. Like half the Ubers you take will be a BYD. And there are charging stations like in parks and things like you can um, EVs are great. And even like they're converting all of the buses to electric now, which is great because when you're on the bus, instead of it being like and like really loud, it's like silent and smooth. Oh my God. I love it when I get on one of the new buses. Um oh yeah, I should explain what an almacen is. It's like a bodega. If you think about it like in New York City, a bodega. It's a teeny tiny store, but they have everything somehow. And my friends are two sisters who own the one near me, and they're amazing. I love them. And I'm super loyal. Like if I can buy it there, I won't buy it anywhere else. Even if it's cheaper, even if it's more convenient, I will literally go to like the Devoto down the street to get the things that they don't sell at the Almacen and then come by the Almacen and buy everything else that they do sell. So I mean, I love them. They're so sweet and um I don't know. I can't say enough good things. It's my favorite thing because in the US we've totally lost like all of the mom and pop shops, and it's just so amazing to get to go to a family owned store and be treated every time I walk in. They're like, Cassie, hi. And they give me kisses and like they love my kids. Um, when I hurt my ankle really bad and I was on crutches, and I would WhatsApp them my order and they would bring it up to my apartment. Um, I had like an emergency where I had to like leave my kids at home for like 15 minutes by themselves, and I gave them the number to the Almacen, and I told them like, "Hey, my kids are home alone for 15 minutes. You know, I told them to call you if they needed anything." And they were like, "Of course." Like it's it's just great. I love it. Um oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, Doug, that's been my experience too. It's like the sizes are all over the place, and yeah, if you're bigger up top, it's a tough. It's I've had a hard time. Uh Yes, yeah. Buy shoes. Jason, buy your wife so many shoes. I promise you, because the ones they sell are either really expensive, or for example, last year I bought, I'm a teacher, so I have to dress like professionally. And so I bought, you know, oops, some like dress boots, and they were like $50, which, I'm such a cheapskate. Like in the US, I'm like Payless, like cheap shoes. Like I don't know. I'm just a cheapskate. $50 was like the cheapest ones I could find. And I wore them for just the winter season, so 6 months, and the soles came off. So, like I love so many things about Uruguay, but shoes are tough. Yeah, yeah. Um, Marcy Meyer. Uh, most of the neighborhoods in Montevideo are walkable, because they're just kind of set up to be that way. I kind of say, like, the neighborhood I live in, like the 3 block radius. Um, I grew up in a rural Texas town of 3,000 people. And I would say that my little neighborhood is more tight knit than that town was. Like, in that town, I had the experience of being a teenager, and you can do nothing without your parents knowing because everybody is so metiche nosy. Um, so, I mean, most neighborhoods are kind of set up to have like almacenes and clubs and everything you need within walking distance. Unless you get, I would say, if you get outside of Buceo, is where it starts getting less and less walkable. And even in Malvin, it can be walkable, like southern Malvin. It can be walkable if you're close enough to a grocery store or something. But, um, Buceo Malvin is kind of like what I would say is the cutoff for when it starts getting a little bit more of a hassle to get around to places. Bum. Okay, Doug. I can't wait. Awesome. Yeah, ciao ciao. Yeah, we use I don't, do I have a plug? Not without unplugging the computer, which I can't do. Yeah, we use the like Italian 3-prong plug. Yes, Jason, I'm telling you, like, it's just not worth it, man. Just um buy new things that are made for this voltage and hertz and everything, because you can even have everything that's supposed to work, and it doesn't. And honestly, like, it's a kind of a red flag to me. Like, the people, so I do consultations with people, and I have told many people, don't move here. You're going to hate it. You won't like it. And one of the red flags is kind of, if people are like, oh, well, I have to have an instant pot. I have to have this. And listen, we had 2 instant pots in the US. I used to make rice, beans at the same time, fry up vegetables every single night. So I like was in the instant pot cult. But it's like, you moving abroad requires you to change the way you do everything. Literally everything. Literally everything. So just get new things, like, it just, if it has a motor, like Jason said, if it has a motor, get a new one. Get a hair dryer here, get a straightener here, get a blender, get everything here. Yeah. um Exchange languages, yeah, like There's several language exchanges. Some of them are like private. I think it's called Academia Uruguay, Academia Uruguay or something like that. It's like Academy Uruguay. And they're like a school, but then they also have social events. And I haven't been there myself, but a lot of people I know have told me really good things about that. Um, and then there's one that meets at Mercado Williman. Um, I might be able to quickly look it up because I think somebody posted it in our um, WhatsApp group recently. Just got a Montevideo Language Exchange. Um, Honestly, like there's just so many. You'll find one. If you are in I know like Facebook groups are horrible and toxic. I know that. Um if you join one of the expat Facebook groups, Uruguay expat some community, I think is the one I think does a pretty good job of keeping the jerks out for the most part. People will post things there, and then yeah, like Morfeo says, Instagram, like here in Uruguay, Instagram is king, like, which sucks because I really hate Instagram. It's my least favorite social media site, but if you look for things, you'll find them there. But yeah, in the Facebook groups, people post all the time. We're having a meetup here, we're having a meetup there. Um, there's honestly like there's a lot available, and you can also just find like Uruguayan friends because a lot of people want to also practice their English. So I mean, I'm on easy mode because I have kids, and so and my kids go to public school, so there are other parents at school who are like, hey, be friends with the be friends with those kids so you can practice your English. They like want our kids to be friends, and I'm like, hey, that's great because I want my kids to practice Spanish. So yeah, I honestly, like, if you are looking for it, you're going to find it because people want, like Morfeo was saying, he like people want to find it. People want to find someone to practice English with. I actually made a TikTok right when I got here, in Spanish saying, "Hey, I need to practice my Spanish and I am an English teacher. Would anybody just want to be friends and we can just chat?" And I got, I think, more than 100 DMs from people who wanted to do that. So, you say, I'll help you with English, you help me with Spanish, and it's great. Um, yeah, Jason, that's a good point. I should point it out. I actually have it. I think I have it on my scouting guide. I have on my website like a PDF scouting guide that I made. And I think it says there you have to just download WhatsApp. Like, start using WhatsApp now if you're not already, because everything is in WhatsApp. Like, everything. I make doctor's appointments in WhatsApp, like dentist appointments in WhatsApp. Everything is WhatsApp. So, if you have to use WhatsApp, which is true in basically every other country than the US, but um yeah, so Marcy, like there's a club in my area that seems to have more like arts classes. So they have like painting classes and dance, and they actually have an English club. Like, if I was seeking out to try to make more friends, I would probably go there and join their English club and be like, "Hey, I'm happy to help if you help me." Um that's also a block away from me, just in the other direction. The one that we go to is like more dance and sports and choir. And then there are some clubs that, like I said, have a pool. So or they'll there's one close by to us that's really, really, really into basketball. So kind of just, whatever your hobby is, what you would do is, again, the almacen, the corner store is your best friend. You go, you tell them like, hey, I really love this. Is there a club that has this? And they will tell you, because Uruguayans are the nicest people on the planet. They're some of the nicest people on the planet. I mean, they are so happy to give you advice, especially if you're like, I'm new here, I'm trying to make friends. If you're very like, you have good energy about it. Um, yeah, they're everywhere though. Like there's so many different clubs. So I think you start with your hobby. Um, we ended up at the club we're at because my kids' friends told them, "Oh, we do karate here," and my kids were like, "Oh, we want to do karate." So I was like, "Okay, fine," you know. Um, oh, Jason, the phones. Oh, dude, the phones are such a big deal, and like everybody has their own way of navigating the phones. What I did with my phone, I only have one phone. I converted my US number to a Google Voice number, and I have an Uruguayan SIM card in my phone. So my actual phone has an Uruguayan, like if I called someone, it would be through the Uruguayan network. But I can go to the Google Voice app and call someone or receive texts that way. So, like I have rental properties and I have friends and stuff that will text me and it comes through the Google Voice app. Almost everything, every two-factor authentication we have works through Google Voice. Almost, almost, almost. We have two that will not go through Google Voice as a two-factor authentication. So, what we ended up doing, my husband already had two phones because he had like a work phone and a personal phone. And he kept his personal phone on Mint Mobile. And Mint Mobile will let you take like texts when you're out of the country. I mean, for a fee, like it's a pretty high expense, but we have his we have a phone that is just like our two-factor authentication phone. It's so dumb, but like we get a text to that phone every other month or so because we're trying to do whatever in our accounts. So that's how we did it. Everybody has their own way that they figure it out, but that's mine. Mm. Ay, Tere, I don't know. Pinchinchera. Pin, pi, Pichinchera. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Um, yeah, Morfeo, you're correct. Like you just slowly um switch over. Oh, um cheapskate. I think I call myself a cheapskate a bunch. Yeah, yeah, penny pincher. That's me. I'm very frugal. But that's why I like Uruguay cuz most people here are really frugal and so I fit in. Yeah, Marcy, that's why I really love our club. And I mean, I'm only a member of ours, but like the signs I see at other ones, I'm like, okay, it probably is pretty similar everywhere. But like in our club, you have the kids sports, you have like sports and exercise and dance classes for people my age, and then they have like choir and things, and then dominoes, like people of all ages are there all the time. And a really nice thing is that they usually have a cafe. So you're kind of there, and then you hang out and have dinner there, or have a coffee there, or have a fernet and coca there. Um, and you end up knowing everyone at the club, especially if you are a foreigner. Like, it's probably one of the things that is, I could see being very off-putting to some, but it is just a fact. Like, in our neighborhood, we are the only English-speaking immigrants. Like, we're just in our small neighborhood, we're it. So everyone knows us. Like, my kids can never get away with anything as long as we live in this neighborhood, because everybody knows them. Everybody knows who, like, oh, I was in the Almacen and this old lady came up to me and she's like, "Are you the I'm going to say it in English. This is all in Spanish, obviously. Are you the family from the US?" And I'm like, yeah. Hi, nice to meet you." She's like, "Oh, my granddaughter goes to school with Amaya." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And she said, she said, "The whole neighborhood says that you guys are doing really well. Your kids are doing so well with their Spanish." And I'm like, "The whole neighborhood? Like, did you have a meeting or what?" So like, um, you'll get to know people really quick. You're going to stand out and people are going to be interested. We're still kind of, I think English speaking immigrants are still kind of a commodity here. It's not super common. So people are always like, "Ooh, where are you from? What? You're speaking English. Where are you from?" And really interested. And they'll ask, "Why did you move here?" And I think when we answer that, we say so many nice things about Uruguay. Like, I think people appreciate that. They're like, "Yeah, we do have a pretty good country," and that helps. Also, um, oh, that's cool to know, Lucia. There's some for older people. Okay, bum, bum, bum. Yeah, I mean, Jason, I think that one thing you do have to be aware of if you move here is that people are more direct, and like, um in the US we're like very careful to never offend anyone. In here, it's not that people want to offend anyone. It's just that everyone's way more laid back. So, for example, when my realtor was showing me this apartment, and we were friends, we had known each other a couple of months, and our kids are in the same sports club. So she's not like a stranger. She was kind of a buddy. But when she was showing me this apartment, she was like, "Oh, and they're building a brand new gym across the street." And she patted my stomach and she said, "So you can go there. It will be good for you." I was like, "Okay, thank you." But I mean, she wasn't being ugly or anything. Like, it's just more, I don't know, people here are more laid back. Latinos in general. I was used to it from my Mexican husband. Like, his family is, there's, if it's obvious it's being said, like which phones? I mean, I brought, oh, I don't know what kind of phone I have. Um I have an old iPhone. Uh, I bought it in 2023, and at that point, it was already a few years old. So I don't know. Most phones are going to work on the networks here. Um, I don't think that's a problem. If it works where you are, it's going to work here. Um, I bought like a burner phone to go back to the US. Um, and I only paid like $100 for it. Like it was a really, really cheap phone. And it's really crappy, but it works on the network here. So that's not something I would worry about. I mean, I might, well, I don't know how soon the tariffs in the US are going to kick in, but I might buy a brand new phone right before moving here because phones are anything electronic is more expensive here with tariffs. So that's another thing, like new shoes, new phones, new computers, and Shaki, that's cute. Uh, they call my son, he's like really, really tall, but he's like stick thin. I mean, he's so thin. And so they call him fideo, which is like a spaghetti noodle. Um, yeah, yeah, people are more, I don't know, people don't get offended as easily here, I feel. Maybe that's just me, but um yeah, yeah. I would just say like I don't I we always had unlocked phones because we always used Mint Mobile or Ting like for many, many years in the US. So we would always like I never had like contract plans. I would always buy the phone outright and then have the really cheap Mint Mobile plan. So I don't know if you upgrade your phone plan, if it's unlocked to accept another SIM card. That's something you should probably ask because I know I do know one lady that moved here and she's older, so I don't know if she just was having, and she didn't speak Spanish, so she was having communication problems all around. But um, if it's part of your plan, I think it might be locked, and so you want to make sure it's unlocked, if that makes sense. Okay. My throat is starting to hurt because I have been a little bit sick. So I am going to wrap up. If anyone has another question, post it now and I'll answer before I go. If not, I'm going to wrap it up now. I feel like I should have like a countdown. Yeah, there's eSIM companies for sure. And I think you can do an eSIM here. I have an actual SIM card. Like I got here and went to a gas station and got a SIM card. But that's just cuz that's what I knew how to do. There's so much, all of the technology makes my head hurt. Okay, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I so my plan is to do a live every other Sunday and then in between Sundays to post a video about a topic. That's my goal. Um, Remembering that I do teach full time, so and I have two kids, so you know, it's the goal. But um, so far, I've done three and kept with the schedule. So yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy that I can help and um, anytime if I basically choose my video topics based on the comments I get on other videos. People will say, like, oh, like I made the air quality one. That was not something I ever even think about, but I got that question enough times that I was like, oh, people are worried. I'll make one of these. So, um, if you have a question that would make a good, like, full length video that I would need to research, the ones I have planned but have to involve other people are talking about the school system, talking about bringing a pet here, and I am going to try to do one about shipping things here. But I didn't bring a pet and I didn't ship anything. So I can't just talk from experience. I have to involve another person. So that's taking me longer. I'm sorry. Um Yay. Jason, you should have called me when you were in Uruguay. We could have met up, man. Um yeah, thanks. I'm so glad that they're helpful. I know that when I was investigating moving here, there wasn't a lot out there that wasn't very like kind of a sales pitch for Uruguay, and I'm just trying to say like, hey, here's how to do basic things. So, oh, that's right. Oh, I remember. Ironically, yes, in the U.S. That was a trip. Okay, yeah, definitely reach out, Marcy. I would love to, especially March because I don't teach in March. I start teaching in April, like kind of mid-April. So I will actually be available then. So definitely reach out. The best way to reach out is my website, CassieTheEnglishTeacher.com. There's like a contact me link, and then I can email you back. And email is the best way because I have 50,000 WhatsApp groups on my phone and text and then Facebook, and it anyway, I get overwhelmed. But email, I like sit down in front of a computer and check it. So that's like the best way. So, okay, I'm going to wrap up so that I can rest. And I will see you guys in a couple weeks. Bye bye.